Let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself. Do you have garlic sitting in your kitchen right now? Maybe on the counter? Maybe tucked in a drawer? Maybe you use it every single day because you've heard it. Keeps your heart strong, your blood pressure steady, and your immune system sharp. For decades, garlic has been praised as one of the most powerful healing foods on earth. But there's something most people never hear about. Something important. Something almost nobody talks about. Because while garlic can protect you, the way many people actually use it can quietly reduce its benefits or turn it into a problem you never saw coming. And here's the part that surprises most viewers. These aren't rare mistakes. They're everyday habits. Habits that feel harmless. Habits you've probably done for years without thinking twice. If you've ever wondered why garlic sometimes helps, sometimes irritates you, or just doesn't seem to do what people promise, this is exactly why today's video matters. Today, everything becomes clear. In this video, we're going to uncover the 10 garlic mistakes most people don't even realize they're making. Mistakes that quietly block garlic's healing potential and affect how your body responds to it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to prepare, store, and use garlic so every clove supports your health the way nature intended. You'll learn how to unlock its true strength, safely, consistently, and confidently. So, take a breath. Settle in. Because before you reach for your next clove of garlic, there's something you need to hear. The first mistake is one almost everyone makes without realizing it. Mistake number 1. Not washing garlic before peeling. Most people skip this step because it feels unnecessary. Garlic looks clean. It's wrapped in that dry paper skin. It feels protected. But as we get older, skipping this step becomes one of the easiest ways to expose the body to things the immune system doesn't handle as quickly as it once did. Garlic grows in soil, and soil sticks. Dirt, bacteria, and fungal spores cling to those outer layers. You don't see them, you don't taste them, but they're there. And the moment you peel, slice, or crush a clove, whatever was on the outside ends up on your cutting board, your knife, your hands, and finally, inside your meal. For younger adults, this might not cause much trouble. But with age, the stomach lining becomes thinner, digestion grows more sensitive, and immune responses slow down. Even a small amount of contamination can trigger bloating or irritation that feels like just getting older. Over time, it can quietly weaken digestion. And here's something many people never consider. Certain molds on garlic can release compounds that stress an aging gut, even when the clove looks perfectly fine. You won't notice them, but your body will. I once spoke with a viewer who dealt with stomach discomfort for months. She changed her diet. She changed her cooking oil. Nothing helped. Then she learned this one simple step. She started rinsing her garlic before peeling. Within a week, her symptoms eased. She wasn't allergic to garlic. Her stomach wasn't failing. The problem was the contamination riding in on the outside of every clove. So here's what to do. Before peeling, give each clove a quick rinse under running water. Just 5 seconds. If you see dirt, rub it off gently. Then dry it with a paper towel so moisture doesn't interfere with cooking. That's it. No extra effort. No complicated routine. Just a small habit that protects your gut, supports your immune system, and keeps garlic working for you instead of against you. This mistake seems harmless, but the smallest habits can have the biggest impact as we grow older. And the next mistake? It's even more common and far more disruptive to your digestion. Mistake number 2, pairing garlic with strong fermented foods or alcohol. This mistake surprises a lot of people because it sounds harmless. Garlic is healthy. Fermented foods are healthy. A small drink before dinner feels perfectly normal. But when garlic meets strong acids or highly fermented dishes, the combination can be unexpectedly rough on a maturing digestive system. Most people never realize these foods don't always work well together. Garlic is rich in sulfur compounds. Fermented foods are packed with acids and active microbes. When you mix the two, that clash can overwhelm the stomach lining, especially as the gut becomes more sensitive with time. The reaction isn't always dramatic, but it can show up as bloating, tight pressure under the ribs, nausea, or that slow burning heaviness that settles in long after the meal is over. Many people blame indigestion without ever connecting it to the pairing on their plate. I've heard the same pattern again and again. Someone enjoys a garlic-heavy meal with kimchi or pickled vegetables, or they take raw garlic right before having a drink. They feel fine at the table, and then, an hour later, the discomfort rolls in. Not severe enough to panic, but enough to ruin the evening. With age, the stomach lining reacts faster to irritation, and something that felt harmless years ago can now unsettle the gut almost instantly. There's another layer. Fermented foods can influence blood sugar. Garlic can influence insulin sensitivity. Combine the two in one meal, and the body may respond unpredictably. People suddenly feel shaky, lightheaded, or drained, assuming it's fatigue, not realizing the food pairing just put extra pressure on their system. Fortunately, the fix is simple. Keep both foods if you enjoy them, but avoid combining raw garlic with strong fermented dishes in the same meal. Spread them out. Let your stomach handle one challenge at a time. Avoid pairing garlic with alcohol on an empty or sensitive stomach. And if you love fermented foods, choose gentler varieties or smaller portions when garlic is already part of the dish. Garlic can support your body. Fermented foods can support your body. But together, especially when eaten the wrong way, they can create more irritation than benefit. A small adjustment makes a big difference, and your digestion will feel the relief. And speaking of food combinations, the next mistake takes things a step further, because this one affects how your body absorbs garlic's nutrients in the first place. Mistake number 3. Eating raw garlic on an empty stomach. Raw garlic is powerful, sometimes a little too powerful when the stomach has nothing else to protect it. The same sulfur compounds that make garlic so healing can become harsh when they hit an unbuffered stomach lining. And as the body changes with time, that lining becomes thinner, more reactive, and far easier to irritate. What once felt like a strong kick can slowly turn into a lingering burn that follows you for hours. Many people don't realize how quickly raw garlic can overwhelm an empty stomach. It triggers acid release, builds heat, and irritates the protective mucus layer that keeps digestion comfortable. When that layer is already more fragile than it used to be, even one clove can bring on cramping, nausea, or that deep ache behind the breastbone that refuses to fade. Plenty of adults wake up with discomfort and assume it's just age, when, in reality, it's the raw garlic they took for health before breakfast. I once heard from a woman who took a raw clove every morning because she believed it boosted her immunity. For years, she handled it just fine. Then, one morning, she felt a sharp pain that stopped her in her tracks. Nothing else in her routine had changed except one thing. She had started taking her garlic before eating. Her stomach simply couldn't take the direct hit anymore. There's another layer most people overlook. When the stomach is empty, garlic's active compounds absorb faster. That can intensify side effects like dizziness, warmth in the throat, or a sudden wave of discomfort that feels like heartburn but sits deeper. It's not something you're meant to power through. It's your body asking for a little protection. The fix is simple. Don't take raw garlic alone. Pair it with food, especially something soft or soothing. Yogurt, oatmeal, eggs, or even a slice of whole grain toast. Give your stomach a buffer. And if your gut tends to react to strong foods, switch from raw cloves to lightly cooked garlic or aged garlic extract, which delivers benefits with far less irritation. Raw garlic can absolutely support your health, but only when the body has what it needs to handle it. A small shift in timing protects your stomach, reduces discomfort, and lets garlic work as the natural ally it's meant to be. And as we move forward, the next mistake dives into something just as important: how your preparation method can make or break garlic's healing power. Mistake number 4. Not letting garlic rest after chopping. This is one of the most important mistakes on the entire list, yet almost nobody thinks about it. Once garlic is chopped, crushed, or minced, it needs a brief moment to unlock the compound that makes it so powerful: allicin. That's the molecule behind garlic's biggest benefits: support for circulation, heart health, immunity, and microbial defense. But allicin isn't sitting inside a whole clove. It forms only after garlic is broken open, when two separate components finally touch and react. Here's the problem. Most people chop garlic and throw it straight into a hot pan. It feels natural, but the moment the heat hits, the reaction stops before allicin fully forms. You get the aroma and flavor, but not the real healing potential. That's why so many people say, "I use garlic all the time, but I don't feel a difference." They're doing everything right, except the timing. The science is simple. When garlic is freshly chopped, the enzyme that creates allicin needs a little time to finish its work. Think of it like striking a match. Give it a second to spark before the flame can grow. Heat too soon, and the spark dies instantly. And as the body relies more on good nutrition, you want every clove to actually deliver what it promises. I once heard from a man who cooked with garlic every day, yet felt no real change. Then he learned this technique. He chopped his garlic first, set it aside while preparing the rest of the meal, and let it rest for about 10 minutes. That tiny pause made a noticeable difference: better circulation, smoother digestion, and more steady energy. The solution is incredibly simple. Chop or crush your garlic first, then let it rest before cooking. If you're using it raw, the reaction happens on its own. If you're cooking, the waiting period protects the allicin, so more of it survives the heat. That small pause turns garlic from a seasoning into a genuine health tool. Don't rush the clove. Give it a moment to work for you. And speaking of timing, the next mistake shows how easily garlic's benefits can be weakened before it even reaches your plate. Mistake number 5. Storing garlic incorrectly. Garlic may look sturdy, but it's one of the most delicate foods in your kitchen, and the way you store it can decide whether it supports your body or slowly loses the very strength you're hoping to get. The changes start quietly: a soft clove, a loose skin, a tiny sprout. But by the time you notice, the compounds that matter most are already fading. The biggest mistake is putting whole bulbs in the refrigerator. Garlic hates cold, damp air. It goes into stress mode, sprouts faster, and becomes more prone to mold. A sprouted clove isn't dangerous, but it's harsher on digestion and far less effective. Another common mistake is sealing garlic in plastic or airtight containers. Garlic needs airflow. Without it, moisture gets trapped, the cloves sweat, and they turn rubbery or sour in just a few days. When garlic loses freshness, the body feels it. A more sensitive gut reacts quickly to cloves that are even slightly past their prime. Bloating, irritation, or that faint bitterness that lingers after a meal. And old garlic simply doesn't work the way you expect. It still smells like garlic, but the active compounds that support circulation and immune strength have already broken down. The solution is simple. Keep garlic in a cool, dry, well-ventilated place: a mesh bag, a basket, or a paper bag in the pantry. Avoid sealed plastic. Avoid the fridge. Once a clove is peeled, use it within a week. Once chopped, use it within a day. Freshness isn't a small detail. It's the foundation of garlic's benefits. Good garlic works with your body. Poorly stored garlic works against it. And the next mistake reveals how easily garlic's strength can fade, even before you finish preparing your meal. Mistake number 6. Overcooking garlic, or using high heat. Garlic can do incredible things for your body, but only if its active compounds survive the heat. And this is where most people accidentally wipe out the benefits. Garlic's sulfur compounds are fragile. They can't handle extreme temperatures. When a clove hits a hot pan before anything else is added, the heat spikes. Those compounds break apart within seconds. And all you're left with is aroma, not impact. It's a common cooking habit. Heat the pan, add oil, toss in the garlic, let it sizzle until it browns. It smells amazing, but browned garlic isn't better for you. Burned garlic does nothing for circulation, heart health, or immune support. And once it turns dark, it becomes bitter and much harder on digestion, especially for anyone with a sensitive gut. I've heard the same story from countless viewers. They used garlic every day, but felt no real difference. They assumed garlic was overrated. But once we looked at their cooking habits, the problem was clear. They were frying the life out of it. What they were eating wasn't garlic's healing compound, just the burnt remains of what used to be garlic. The fix is simple. Treat garlic gently. Add it later in the cooking process. Use low to medium heat. Warm it only until it becomes fragrant. Not brown, not crispy. And if you want even stronger benefits, add a little raw or lightly cooked garlic at the end so your body actually receives the full dose of active compounds. Think of garlic like a natural medicine. It responds beautifully to gentle heat, but shuts down under harsh conditions. Handle it right, and every clove works for you the way nature intended. And speaking of unlocking benefits, the next mistake explains why your body sometimes absorbs far less garlic than you think. Mistake number 7. Swallowing whole garlic cloves. Swallowing whole garlic cloves might seem like a clever shortcut. No chopping, no smell, no burning taste. But it's one of the least effective and riskiest ways to use garlic. A whole clove never releases allicin, the compound behind garlic's biggest benefits. Allicin forms only when garlic is crushed or chopped. Swallowing a clove whole is like sending a sealed package through your digestive system. It goes in whole, and for many people, it comes out almost the same. No reaction, no absorption, no benefit. There's also how the body handles it. A raw clove is dense and tough. Many digestive systems can't break it down easily, and it can sit heavy in the gut for hours, causing pressure or cramping that people mistake for a garlic sensitivity. And the choking risk is real. A garlic clove is small, slippery, and the worst possible shape to swallow whole. One wrong inhale can turn a health habit into an emergency. I once heard from a retired nurse who swallowed whole cloves for years because she believed it was the strongest way. After switching to crushed garlic, she noticed something unexpected. Not just better results, but easier digestion. The heaviness disappeared. Meals felt comfortable again. The fix is simple. Break the clove open. Crush, chop, or mince it, then let it rest so allicin can develop. Mix it into food, yogurt, soups, or dressings if the taste is too strong. This unlocks the compounds your body actually uses, without forcing your stomach to handle something it isn't designed to break down whole. Garlic only works when you unlock it. Swallowing it whole keeps everything sealed inside, and your body pays the price. And the next mistake reveals how some people lose garlic's benefits even after preparing it correctly. Mistake number 8. Using pre-peeled or pre-minced garlic. Pre-peeled garlic looks convenient. It saves time. It avoids the mess. But the moment garlic loses its skin, it also loses its protection. That papery layer isn't just packaging, it's armor. Without it, the clove is exposed to air and moisture, and the compounds you rely on begin fading fast. Pre-peeled garlic oxidizes, dries out, and loses its potency long before it reaches your kitchen. Worse, once the natural barrier is gone, microbes can grow more easily. That's why pre-peeled cloves sometimes smell sour, feel slimy, or look slightly discolored. And for anyone with a sensitive gut, even mild spoilage can trigger bloating, irritation, nausea, or that bitter aftertaste that ruins a meal. Pre-minced garlic is another step further from fresh. It often sits in oil, preservatives, or acidic liquids that flatten garlic's active compounds. You get convenience, but not the benefits. Just garlic-flavored oil with very little real garlic power left. I once heard from a man who relied on jarred garlic because chopping hurt his hands. He never understood why he didn't feel the benefits others talked about. When he switched to freshly chopped cloves, prepped in small batches and used within a few days, he finally noticed the difference. The fix isn't giving up convenience, it's adjusting it. Use whole bulbs whenever you can, and peel only what you need. If peeling is difficult, prep a small amount ahead of time and store it briefly in a sealed glass container. A few days? Fine. Weeks? Not so much. And always trust your senses. If the smell or texture is off, toss it. With garlic, freshness decides everything. Pre-peeled may save minutes, but it quietly steals the strength you're trying to get. Choose fresh, protect the clove, and your body gets the full benefit. And the next mistake reveals another silent way garlic loses its power before it ever reaches your plate. Mistake number 9. Bleeding disorders, low platelets, and chronic conditions. Garlic is powerful, and that power matters when your body is managing certain medical conditions. Garlic naturally thins the blood and boosts circulation. That's helpful for many people, but if you bruise easily, have low platelets, or deal with slow clotting, garlic can push your system further than it can comfortably handle. The warning signs often appear quietly. A bruise that spreads more than usual, a small cut that won't stop bleeding, or lightheadedness after a meal. Many people blame age or delicate skin, but garlic can quietly amplify an issue that was already there. There's also the medication factor. Garlic can strengthen the effects of blood thinners, blood pressure medication, and diabetes medication. When that happens, the result can be dizziness, sudden drops in blood pressure, fatigue, or shaky blood sugar. The kind of symptoms that feel mild, but signal that your body is working too hard to stay balanced. I once heard from a man who increased his garlic intake to improve his heart health. Within weeks, he started bruising from small bumps and felt faint after dinner. His medications weren't the problem. The garlic was magnifying their effects. For people with thyroid concerns, especially an overactive thyroid, garlic's natural stimulating effect can occasionally make symptoms feel stronger. A racing heartbeat, restless energy, or difficulty sleeping. The solution isn't to avoid garlic, it's simply to use it wisely. If you take blood thinners, manage circulation issues, or rely on medication for blood sugar or blood pressure, talk to your doctor before adding large amounts of garlic or trying supplements. Normal cooking amounts are usually fine, but high doses or raw garlic habits can tip your balance. Garlic is powerful, and powerful things deserve respect. Used thoughtfully, it supports your health. Used carelessly, it can complicate it. And the final mistake reveals how garlic's benefits can slip away even before your first bite. Mistake number 10. Using garlic before surgery. This is the one mistake that can turn a routine procedure into a risky situation, and most people have no idea it's happening. Garlic thins the blood. That's helpful in daily life, but right before surgery, it becomes a problem. When the body needs to clot quickly, garlic can quietly interfere, making even a simple dental extraction or biopsy harder to control than it should be. Many people keep eating garlic right up to the day of their procedure because it feels like a harmless food, not a blood-active compound. But hospitals see the effects all the time. A small incision that bleeds longer than expected. A minor procedure that becomes complicated. A surgeon working harder than usual to stop bleeding that shouldn't be happening. And the person sitting on the table has no idea garlic played a role. I once heard from a viewer who kept her nightly garlic routine before a minor outpatient surgery. She thought nothing of it. But during the procedure, the bleeding was harder to stop, and the surgery ran longer than planned. When her doctor reviewed her habits, the answer became obvious. It wasn't the procedure, it wasn't her age, it was the garlic. And garlic doesn't need to be eaten in large amounts to matter. Daily use can thin the blood enough to become an issue once you're on an operating table. If you're also taking aspirin, anticoagulants, fish oil, vitamin E, or other blood-active supplements, the thinning effect stacks, making it even harder for your body to form stable clots. The fix is simple and medically universal. Stop garlic in any significant amount at least 10 to 14 days before surgery, major or minor. That includes supplements, raw garlic habits, heavy garlic dishes, and home remedies. And always tell your doctor if garlic is part of your daily routine. It's not a small detail, it matters. Garlic is powerful. Most days, that power helps you. But before a procedure, timing is everything. Give your body the chance to clot normally, and you walk into surgery far better protected, exactly how nature intended. Garlic can be one of the most powerful foods in your kitchen, but only when you use it with intention. A few small habits can protect your heart, support digestion, improve circulation, and give your body the steady strength it needs day after day. And the best part? These changes are simple. No supplements, no complicated routines, just awareness, and a little respect for how strong garlic really is. If today's video helped you catch even one mistake you didn't realize you were making, that's already a win. Your body deserves clear information, not confusion. It deserves choices that make you feel steady, confident, and in control of your health. And you'll be amazed at how quickly things shift when your daily habits finally start working with you instead of against you. Now, it's your turn. Tell me in the comments. Which garlic mistake were you making without realizing it? Was it storage? High heat? Raw garlic on an empty stomach? Or something completely different? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. So share it. Start the conversation. Support each other. And if this video brought you value, stay with the channel. We focus on real nutrition, real habits, and real solutions that make everyday life feel stronger and clearer. No noise, no gimmicks, just guidance that actually helps. Take care of yourself, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video.